We are live. Welcome to Elevate Today podcast. Today, I'm very happy to introduce a very special guest. Today, I am with Omar, and he is the gym owner of the new gym that I go to. So, jiu-jitsu and fitness has been a huge part of my podcast, of my personal journey, and really just any kind of environment that I'm in. It just matters. If I'm there weekly, if I'm there every day, it's an important environment, and I'm very privileged to have the owner of somewhere that I am at every single day. So I introduced to you Omar, the owner of Lifestyle Fitness.
Thank you, Hannah. Thanks for having me.
No problem. How does it feel to be the owner of your own gym?
Sometimes I don't think about things like that, right? I kind of just I do it because it's became so like normal to me.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling to see um people come and enjoy themselves. As far as like any if you're here for jiu-jitsu, boxing, strength and conditioning, and when I step back and I kind of I see everyone having a good time. That's when I enjoy it the most.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing feeling that I've always kind of I knew I wanted to do something like this. Have my own like building my own like business.
Mm-hmm.
I just as I kind of went and built myself. That's what kind of made me appreciate the things a little bit more.
So, how long ago did you know that you wanted to start a gym?
Um, what it has to be, I would say like within the last 3 years. I would say what like yeah like during COVID, I believe it's kind of right before COVID I started coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I started coaching boxing, and prior to that I was working at a barbershop. I'm a barber.
Yeah.
So then I was literally in the middle of a haircut, and I was thinking it kind of I had already been coaching for a few months, and for me I realized what boxing had done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing, and then the beauty industry, like working at a barbershop, and I was literally in the middle of a haircut, and it just as you kind of zone out.
Mm-hmm.
You zone out when you're in the middle of a haircut, because you already know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So much repetition. You don't think about what guard you're gonna pick up, what clipper you're gonna pick up, and it just came to me. I'm like, what if, well, how crazy would it be to have a boxing gym next to a barbershop? So I was just like, because health and beauty is, for me, it's the most, those are two big important things for anyone,
Oh, yeah.
anybody's life. Like you look good, you feel good, and you do good.
Mm-hmm.
Like Coach Murph likes to say, you look good, feel good, fight good.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe in that.
Yeah.
It's very powerful for every individual. So I kind of put that in the back of my head. Like I had that thought. And then COVID hit, where you stop. Obviously I was still working. I was still coaching, cutting hair. But I always kind of had that feeling. I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew that I wanted to do a gym next to a barbershop.
That's so cool.
So
Specifically next to it.
next to it, yeah, because like I mean, it all goes around,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, I'm like, well, what are two of the biggest things that people do every weekend? They every single time when I would ask like my clients, I'm like, hey, what you got going on? Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm getting my haircut right now. So every
Mm-hmm.
weekend, or it's that's what it was, for everyone. So I'm like, well, why not just bring it here and then just do two things in the same location?
That's so logical. And then you just managed to be Willow Glen.
Yeah, I mean that Willow Glen is just we felt like, so during COVID, I met a really good friend of mine. He's like my brother, um, and when I met him, I was cutting his hair every week. You know, he was, and I thought it was amazing of like the conversations that we would have. You know,
Yeah.
from the first day, it just, you know, it clicked. I'm like, this is good. This is a good person to have. It's a good environment.
Mm-hmm.
So, he offered me to actually work there because I had a studio during COVID. I had just gotten a studio. He offered me to, hey, why don't you just come and work out of here, like just rent out a space and save some money. I'm like, all right. And it just happened to be that he had a gym. He had a small little gym that he would work at.
Dang.
And once whatever, I was there probably about a year. I would say about a year, and we ended up moving locations. So as we were searching for a new location for a barbershop and a salon, I was actually taking a look. I was looking at a different spot down in Willow Glen, and then I was on my way back, and I seen that spot right in the corner. So we were looking for a salon space.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even like a gym space or nothing, you know. And it just happened to be that like once we got the keys to that spot, the space was open. We found out there was a space that was open in the back.
That's crazy.
You know, so and then we're like, oh, okay, well, let's we kind of one of his business partners took over it, you know, and we were able to have a small gym. But once I saw it, I'm like, this is a good space for a gym. Dang. You know, and like I said, we just kind of ended up in Willow Glen based off on just the salon. The salon was supposed to be the first. That was our main focus. And then once that space became available this year, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and jump on it.
You did it fast too.
Yeah.
That's considered super fast, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be super fast like that, right? But it's just, for me, the way I saw it is, I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna do it, then I'm gonna go ahead and get it done like quick, because I don't wanna. The more and more I delay on it, then the time passes and you don't end up doing it. You know, you just have that thought. Then now you have that those thoughts that, oh, I thought about that, you know, and then you never end up doing it. So for me, I set a time frame. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and I got the keys on the 15th, July 15th, and I told myself in 1 month I'm gonna go ahead and use that time to set it up, and September I'm gonna go ahead and open up, and that's what we did, you know. And we didn't have specific like time frame when we were gonna get everything, all the equipment in. All I knew is I had a boxing ring on the way.
Dang.
I had a boxing ring on the way, and I didn't know where I was gonna put it, you know, and that's why I had to hurry up. So I talked to the landlord, and I'm like, hey, I have a business idea, and then I know that this space is available when I start a gym. And then she was just kind of like, oh, it's like this. I actually thought about like doing something like that, or like a dance studio. And I'm like, okay, that's, you know, dance studio, actually, that would have been a good idea too, you know.
Boxing's better though.
Boxing is just, you know, everybody enjoys boxing. But then I told her, I'm like, well, like, you know, I really want to take over this space. I have a boxing ring on the way. And then she was just like, you have a ring on the way already? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you really believe in this, huh? I'm like, yeah, I really do. Like, and she's like, okay. And prior to that, before the ring, I remember there was a small little opening on the door, because they had like a bag on the windows, right? And then I would go every day, right after I was done with my day in the front in the barbershop, I would go there, and then I would kind of peek, and then I would see the whole building, right? And then I knew exactly where everything was gonna go. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then I just had that feeling like this is gonna happen. You know, it's just, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what time it was gonna happen at, but then I'm like, this is gonna happen. I was just waiting for her. I was like, I'm gonna wait. Well, I was waiting for her call, you know, to so we could take a look at this space. And then once she agreed on it, you know, I'm like, all right, like, this is real now. I'm like, I got the ring on the way. It came, I believe, like the following week that I got the keys. and I had to go to Oakland or to go pick it up.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
You made it? You built it?
yeah, we built
'Cause
it.
I was like,
It
how
came
did
in
that get in
pieces.
here? Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, like everything, the posts, the ropes, everything. We had built it, you know. And yeah, I mean, it was that's all I knew. I wanted it to be like a full on MMA gym, but it was just a boxing gym at first, you know. Once we built that, I'm like, okay, this looks like a real boxing gym now.
That's when a lot of people weren't in there, but
Yeah.
just the ring.
just the ring. It was
Yeah.
just you know, a few personal sessions,
Yeah.
close friends, and that was it. Yeah. And then but like I said, it was towards the end of September. September 30th was the official grand opening.
And how did that feel that day for you, seeing all those people there?
Oh man, it was amazing. You know, I knew it was gonna be huge. Like I knew the place was gonna blow up. Like I said, or else I wouldn't have done it. I believed in it truly.
Yeah.
But that day was it was tough. One of my dogs passed away that same day.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah.
The twin?
One of the Dobermans. You know, I don't know if you ever saw both the Dobermans that I had.
I didn't see both. I've never seen both.
So
just one of them.
You seen the black one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a brown one.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he
sad.
was 4 years old, and that whole week, you know, I was preparing for the grand opening, and he had gotten really sick.
4?
Yeah, he was only 4 years old. Yeah. So the night before on was it Friday? I got home at like I think it was like 2 a.m, and then he wasn't doing well, and I stayed up to I think it was like 4:05 in the morning. Like he just passed away like in the garage, and so and I had that grand opening that same day.
That's a crazy thing.
You know, so
to wipe your tears and go to
oh
work.
yeah, I was just, you know, I think probably slept like what, an hour that day. Whoa. And I had to be up, and I had to take him, you know, get cremated, and I took him. I had to drive all the way down to Salinas.
You were really close with your dogs, huh?
Yeah.
So that one got
every
to
day.
you.
That one especially him, because we only had him about a year, but my son was the closest with them.
Aww.
You know, so that's when I didn't know how to tell him after, because I didn't see him I didn't see my son till the following day, but he didn't know anything about it because he showed up to the grand opening, and it was a good feeling to see everyone, all the people there, you know, but obviously I had to deal with that in the beginning of the day. Once I came back, I got back around like 12:01 in the afternoon, and then I was ready to work. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, I had to do it. I mean, it's not like I could. It was a grand opening for the gym, so but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, seeing all those people come by, and I know it's not easy to come to a new place. You know, especially a new gym, new place, and that's why I appreciate everyone that showed up that day. You know, because if they believed in it, you know, they believe in it. You know, and it's like, it's a vision and vision that I had, and for someone to come in and be a part of that, like, I mean, it wouldn't have came in life if it wasn't for everybody.
Yeah, everyone got there the first week of October, right?
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
The day I walked in, it was like, oh my gosh. First off, the whole look was just so professional with you do white and black everything.
Yeah.
So it looked so classy. I've been seeing pictures, and it looks like the perfect like aesthetic look especially for fighting. It's just classic, clean black and white, and it was filled. Like the first day I went, the whole gym was filled.
Yeah, I remember it was that first Monday that we had just started jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So it was so quick, because I remember we got the mats installed on Friday, the day right before the grand opening, and I told Coach Murph, I'm like, hey, he's like, let's do it. We're starting jiu-jitsu on Monday, and I'm like, let's go. Like, I was, you know, we were both kind of ready, you know. I was like, all right, let's do it. You know, you just jump, you know, and then it was packed. When I seen that, I'm like, oh shit, like it was amazing.
Yeah. So we were talking about this before, like, when you are a passionate person or like
Mm-hmm.
ambitious person, it's important to have vision and to set goals and to know that it's not always going to be exactly how you want it, but to still keep going anyway, which is kind of how you fell perfectly with having a barbershop and a gym right next to each
Mm-hmm.
other. So how do you stay motivated knowing that there is that dream and vision waiting for you once you continue to do your due diligence, your steps, and waiting for like the appointed time to be divinely given to you when you're ready?
I think the most important thing is staying consistent every day. Every day you write something down. You write a goal that you may have, um, and there's gonna be days that you're not motivated. You know, you're
Yeah.
not motivated to go to the gym, to go to work, whatever it is. And one thing that I learned, and this is something that my friend that I was telling you about, my brother, his name is Mike, is that he really taught me that. And one thing he would always bring up is like continue to work on yourself, continue to work on your habits. Because your habits are the most important thing that you have. When you're sick, when you're down, for example, like when my dog passed away, I still had those habits that I had to get up. If it wasn't for those habits, then I probably wouldn't have like gotten that extra push that I received. And I believe that like the more consistent that you are with yourself, the small little like accomplishments that you tell yourself that you're gonna do, you build that momentum. It's like one thing at a time. Every single day you gotta do something that like pushes you towards that goal, even if it's small. Something that like you keep that momentum and you continue to push yourself. Every single time that when I feel like I can't finish something, I always tell myself one more. One more. That's it. Even if you still may have 20 more reps, 50 more reps, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you kind of psych yourself out. You're like, okay, nah, one more. Next thing you know, you're done. You start. When you start, you're already halfway done.
Yeah.
Right. And when you're halfway done, you're already finished. Right. So it's like you start to do things. Everything that you do, you start doing it like that.
Mm-hmm. Have you always been that way?
No, I always knew I had something in me. I was always very like I like to move. I was very curious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know. Sometimes you feel that in you, but you need somebody to kind of take it out in a way, right? You need people to motivate you. You need good people to teach you things.
Mm-hmm.
So then like it naturally starts to kind of build within yourself.
Mm-hmm. I hope nobody hears the people outside, the gardeners. I can't plan that. I never know when they're out there. But yeah, I think that's the most important thing about our community right now. Like for me, I'm all about the energy, like how a community could make me feel. And at least with our community right now, everyone wants to be there.
Right.
Everyone is happy to be there. Like double classes, early morning classes, the energy is so family.
Yeah.
And it's in the title, it's in the name. Right. Like we are doing this because it's our lifestyle. I train every single day, and if I can't, it's because I literally can't.
Right.
It's because I have other plans or family stuff, but every day we're all showing up there to do one thing for ourselves.
Right.
Like train, learn how to fight, or be around people that live off of just highly motivating energy.
Yeah, that's it. And then that's what we wanted to push in the beginning, right? That's everyone does something every day, right? So depending on what lifestyle that you build, be training every day, you feel like if the more and more that you're around it, the more and more you feel like welcome. Right? And the environment is very important for me. When I see people come and then they can relate to the name because you build that lifestyle and then that's how you live. It's just like that people, they feel welcome, right? With anything that you do, and then you seen the environment the minute that you walked into that gym.
Yeah.
Everyone was very helpful, and that's very important. I don't want anybody to feel that like they feel intimidated, especially stepping into like an MMA gym, right? There's a lot of the times you step in and then you may not even know what you're about if you never try it, right? You may be very talented in the sport, but you may get drawn away because of someone that may have made you feel a certain way or whatever, right? And you never really find out. But here, if you need that extra push, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
If you need somebody to like, slowly like show you the ropes and show you how to move, you'll get that. You need somebody to talk to, you'll get that. You need just to go in there and just to have a good cardio workout and socialize with people, meet people, you'll get that. So you'll get all different lifestyles. So that's what to me is more important for that. It's the community that you build.
That's actually what I caught from you immediately, because I think the first time we talked was like last week or not, like for a long time.
Yeah.
And when you were giving me a tour of everything, and I realized like the core principle of why you do this and how you think is literally for the people.
Right.
And it's the fact that like you love talking to people. You've done hair barber. You realize that people need more right now. Like people need so much more right now. It can't do much of the education system unless you're in that industry. Churches are already trying their best. Missionaries are not in America. Like rehabs, you have to go to them.
Right.
What is there? There's yoga, there's gym, there's boxing. And then when you go to those communities, are you just showing up for an hour, or do you have a couple people that you hug? You have a couple people that you see every day. So you have to check in on them. You have to be connected with what's up with their day. And now you're doing life with them. And we don't do life with a lot of people, only the ones you see every day. So if you're going to spend 2 hours somewhere in the evening, like it better be a whole lot of love. That's my free time after work. And there's genuinely nowhere else I'd rather be, because I'm part of something.
Right.
I see people that I miss from the day before,
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing to be part of.
No, yeah. And that's like, when I remember the first time I ever went to a barbershop, I was like 15 years old. Ever since I've always liked getting haircuts, but I remember my dad would cut my hair all the time, and every like 2 weeks. I stepped into a barbershop. It was I believe it was in Mountain View, and this barber, he was cutting all the Niner players, right?
Whoa.
And you step in there and it's just a good time. Everyone's like either he's always like making fun of someone, like but it's a community. It's like you bullshitting, talking shit, but it's like in a loving, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that, and then I asked him, I was like, hey, is this all you do all day? He's like, yeah. I was like, this is dope. Like, because it's like everyone's like a family. You come in here, you enjoy it, you talk to them, you cut in their hair, and you may see people that you haven't seen in a long time. And then like, or you may meet someone that you may do business with later, and the same thing with the gym. It's the same type of community. I've always enjoyed that. And like in a barbershop, when I would get a client and then they would see someone that they haven't seen ever since high school, and then it's like the genuine hug, like, hey bro, nice to see you, this and that, and how you been, catch up. That's what the important thing is. It's bigger than getting that haircut. It's bigger than training, and that's the real connection. And then the gym, you meet people, and then you see people that you haven't seen in a long time, and you're like, oh, I didn't know you did boxing. How you been? I haven't seen you since high school, whatever. I was like, wow, that's what we do it for. So that's the I've always enjoyed watching that. Yeah.
You also work with the people at your gym though, right?
Yeah.
So what's that like, seeing the same people all day?
It's I like doing it because you learn more, you build different connection, right? A gym, you may see them for a little bit, and then it's a short conversation, and some of the like the stylists, a couple of style, we all live together. And it's all one big family, and I think that being around the right people is what actually makes each other better. So we look at it like that, right? We created a gym, and then everyone knows that, like, everyone that's in the front that works at the salon, it's their gym too. You know, so then they don't realize that before, that we have a couple barbers that they never even did boxing before. They never really even thought of it. Now they're in there hitting the speed bag, you know, jumping into classes, and it's amazing because now they're taking care of themselves. You know, it's the mindset of it too, of like actually paying attention to your health, you know. And when it's motivating, you know. That's where you get the momentum when you see someone like that. So I mean, I enjoy it, you know. Yeah.
Something that's been fascinating to me is just the concept of vanity, like how we do so much for our looks. And as I was kind of like, yeah, we do too much for our looks, we need to be more down to earth and natural and not care about how we look. But it's like in our truest essence to feel beautiful, to look good,
Right.
as much as we can, to feel good and look good,
Right.
all the time, and to give off that image to others as well. And with fitness being involved, that's like the missing piece. Do you think that you could see yourself running like seminars talking about self-esteem, health and fitness, as far as like eating side, or like women's self-esteem or like self-defense? Can you see seminars in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. You know, when I was I had to be in like straight graduated from right out of high school. I actually had a good friend ask me, he's like, hey, what do you see yourself doing? And then I told him, I was like, I want to be a motivating speaker.
No way.
Yeah. So I was actually on driving here, and I was thinking about that. You know, it's crazy how like life works, how everything starts to kind of fall into play.
Yeah.
You know, and he had told me, he's like, okay, he's like, that's good. You know, you're gonna have to deal with a lot. You know, it's like you gotta go through things. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, that's, he said, what kind of motivated speaker? I was like, I want to motivate like individuals who may feel like down, or like, you know, anybody that doesn't have like a direction, right? And that was the first time I ever had that thought. It just, you know, kind of forgot about it, and then now with this and the barbershop, and you know, it's like I said before, health and beauty is the most important thing for every individual. And I think that like if more and more people find out of like how to do it, and that they have that available for them, I truly believe that they'll do things, whatever they have going on in work, life.
Yeah.
They'll find out more about themselves, and in a way where everyone's gonna be confidence, because that's how you build that confidence. When, you know, women, when you walk in there and then you feel like, it's not being cocky. Like a lot of people, they get it confused, right? When you walk in there and you know what you want, right? If women, men, or whatever, when you walk in there and then you could tell that they have that confidence. I for me, I enjoy that, right? Like I like that. I'm like, okay, like good. They know what they want, you know, and you want to be around that. Empowering like more people. So if we could do that, like, you know, you never know with time, you know. It's just that could be something down the line, and we could definitely do, you know.
That's just wild that you wanted to do motivational speaking at one point.
Yeah, I know.
Who do you listen to?
Who was the first person? The first person I really talking about like podcasting.
Anyone that's like in that motivational realm.
His name Ed Milet.
Oh yeah.
Ed Milet was huge. That was the first person I ever listened to, and I heard of him through one of my clients. He was in the financial services, and Ed Milet actually was one of the biggest guys that he also did financial services in the same company, and he became
Wow.
a speaker for the whole company, and then now started doing his own businesses outside of that.
Oh.
So when I first heard of him, then I started looking up different speakers. You know, like there was another big guy that I can't think.
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins. Robbins was one of the first guys
He
too.
was the first one to make it cool.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows Tony Robbins.
Who's that owner? I don't know if you heard the owner of
Oh yeah.
First Form.
Yeah, his name is Andy Frisella.
Yeah, him. So it's like
I love him.
everyone's it's different topics, you know. Andy Frisella. I don't know if you heard of Brad Lee.
I love them. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. So I hear them, and a lot of the times, like every morning, I actually I listen to something positive.
Okay.
But I started doing that, I would say, like during a little bit after COVID, probably about a year after. Every morning I would listen to something positive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my son, he asked me one day, he's like, Dad, he's like, why do you always listen to someone speaking? And then I'm like, oh, because it's positive information for your mind, you know, in the morning, especially in the morning. That's what you're already feeding. And he's like, oh, he kind of just, I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, this is, you need to listen to these things, because like that's what's gonna make you stronger. I was like, you're ever since he was born, I would always tell him, hey Roman, you're a beast. And then he would just look at me. He's like 3 months old, right? I'm telling him that. I'm like, you're a beast. And then now he's like, Dad, I'm a beast.
Dang.
I was like, yeah, you are. He's like, you're a beast. And he's like, look, I'm strong. I was like, yeah, you are. You're strong, you know? So he knows patterns, right? He knows those habits that I'm building. Same thing, right? Because then now the older he gets, he starts to understand. He starts to ask different questions. He sees things. Like, it's better for him to learn it now. I didn't learn it till what? I was like 26, 27. So all these years, and he's only 6 years old. Dang. Already asking me like deep questions, you know. So
wow, he's very confident. He's very confident, bright kid, especially that age, around all adults, like big adults.
Yeah.
He's so happy in there. He's so cute.
He's always, you know, he's always been around it. He's been in the barbershop and the gym. This past week was the first week that he's actually asked me to hold mitts for him.
Oh dang! He asked you.
He asked me to hold mitts for him. He wanted me to wrap his hands, because he's around it, but I never try to push it. He's got to be around it because I do it, you know. So, and he knows that, like, he tells me, he's like, oh, I'm the owner. I'm like, yeah, okay, you are the owner. I was like, what should we do? What else should we do? So he looks at everything and he gives me ideas too. Wow. He told me to put a vending machine in there, right?
That's genius.
He's like, Dad, you should put a vending machine in here. And he's like, you should have snacks. I was like, yeah, you're taking all the snacks on.
Dang.
But, you know, little things like that make him confidence, you know. I allow him to feel that way. And when he asked me last week that, he's like, I want you to hold mitts. I'm like, okay. And he loved it. He enjoyed it. The minute I put his hand wraps, he looks at his hands. He's just like, wow. He puts on his gloves and he starts hitting, you know. And
how'd he do?
Oh, he did amazing. He remembered the same combination that I was teaching him that day, and he taught my cousin.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, he my cousin. It was one of the barbers too, that she came and he showed her that, oh, and he was like showing her exactly how to move, right? And he's like she told me after, and she's like, hey, you know what you just did? I was like, what? Like, he showed me the same combination. What you were teaching him, he showed him the same combination that you did. I was like, damn, that's crazy for him to actually to remember it. It was like replaying it in his head, and same move, you know. So
that's beautiful.
That's I don't know, like powerful. That right there, like really like touched me. It makes me happy.
All he's seeing is sky's the limit, and anything's possible.
Yeah, that's
the most greatest thing you can give a child.
So I always, you know, push that towards him. You could do whatever you would like, you know, sky's the limit.
I love that. And especially with motivation, that is the perfect thing for a child, because they have the biggest imagination. They think anything is possible. They think that their imagination is real.
Right.
And then life happens and you realize, oh, people are rude. People are going to backstab you. People are terrible. Business is hard. Life happens and it kind of crushes you, only to find a path of motivation to get back to knowing like whatever you want in life you could have.
Right.
But for a child, if they could skip getting crushed and just know life happens, but you still can't do anything. Like with the motivation he's seeing now, I started listening to motivation when I was a child, and it stuck with me because my parents forced me to. Not forced me. They were just always listening. And so I always had to as well. And I remember the confusion, like, yeah, why are you listening to someone else?
Yeah.
But it's implanted in my brain as normal. Just like your son, he's going to be used to being around gyms. He's going to be used to going up, introducing himself to like some new guy with gloves on. Like it's insane what is going to be normal for him just because you get to bring him in that environment. Like the skills that he's just going to have that are not going to be taught because you own a gym.
Right. No, yeah. I always, you know, I have those conversations with them where I tell him, I'm like, hey, continue to have that imagination, that creativity. Don't ever lose that. You know, that's why he has an idea. I'm like, okay, you know, I make him think. Whenever he wants something too, I always ask him, why do you want it? Like, give me 3 good reasons as to why would you like that? Do you need it? Then he starts telling me, right? And then he realizes that he doesn't need it. It could be a toy, right? I'm like, do you need that toy? You know how many toys you got? And then he's just like, yeah, but this and that. He's like, I need it. I was like, I don't have this one. I'm like, yeah, but why? And then next thing you know, he's like, yeah, never mind. He's like, he's like, so I don't need it. I was like, see? So it's every time that he does something, he'll think twice before doing it, you know?
Dang.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just a matter of like, he's taught me a lot of patience though. I remember one time he broke, he was eating and he was just playing. I had already told him, I'm like, hey, like sit down and eat. And he accidentally knocked down a plate and he broke it. Right. So and I go over there and then first thing I was kind of mad. I was mad. I'm like, dude, I told you. I was like, the minute I was like, what happened? And he was crying already. And I know what my dad would have done. My mom would have yelled at me.
Yeah.
So, see, I told you. You know, so and you're scared. You're like, what? Like, oh, my fault. You know, like, and I caught myself and I told him like, hey, are you hurt? He's like, no. I'm like, okay, it's all right. You're good. You're fine. I was like, you broke it? I was like, don't worry about the plate, because he's worried about the plate. I'm like, we'll get another one. Don't worry about it. And he's like, okay. So to me, it's that allows him to be more open with me, you know, compared to if I would have yelled at him, he would have thought that every single time that he did something, he's doing it wrong. So he never shares anything with me. You know, it doesn't, from asking questions, whatever, because that's how I know that's how I felt. You know, your parents may tell you that, hey, you could be open with me, but then in a way you don't want to, because what if they get mad? Now you're like, oh, well, never mind. I'd rather not have you be mad at me, so I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. You know, and for him, it's like, you know, he's very open, and he'll ask me anything, you know, good, bad. Sometimes I'm like, damn, like, where'd you hear that? You know, but it's better for him to know about it now, through me, and so he doesn't have to hear it like friends, you know, like, and or on TV videos, whatever, you know.
Is he scared of you? The laugh.
I mean, I don't. He's like, I would say he's scared. He's scared of like me in a good way. I don't know. He knows when I'm serious, you know, because he likes to play around a lot. Yeah. So then I'll play with him, and then when I get serious, he's like, "Oh, okay, he'll step back." So it's like a small little intimidation that you may feel. You know?
That's what I'm like. When I have kids, I totally don't know how to navigate, like, respect me and have like fear, or maybe like my person, or you know, like, express yourself. I want to be the one that knows the good and the bad of you, not your friends. I want that to be me.
Right.
You know, like, but I've seen the people that let their kids be fully themselves lack discipline. But maybe it's just the Islander background, because I just don't know how to maintain Islander ways
Right.
without like disciplining your kids and spanking your kids, and then they fear you. But how do you have both respect and openness?
Yeah, I think that you gotta make him feel like you gotta build that confidence, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta make sure that they also know when you're being serious and when you're just playing around with them, right? Because like you have to build that confidence off of like discipline, certain things, right? Like you make him do a task, right? And then he gets it done, and then you motivate him to kind of like congratulate him, right? Like, hey, you did good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's building that confidence, because he knows that he did something that maybe it could be from like cleaning his room, right? And that builds the confidence and the discipline behind it. And then whenever it's time to play, then you gotta allow him to destroy things, right? Like, you're playing with him. You can't get mad at, like, okay, well, you told him he could play, right? And if you get mad at, like, hey, well, you made a mess, but you told him that you could play. You didn't tell him that, hey, you could play, but don't make a mess.
Yeah.
So it's just based on like how you word things for him, right? So and he looks at things and like, okay, well, I could do what I want right now, and then you come in, okay, you did it. You might have made a mistake by making a huge mess, but then now you're gonna help me clean it. So it's like a thing where like, okay, like I'm fine with that, right? And you show him the way, we're like, okay, and then like I said, you congratulate him after. See, look what you did, and it makes him feel, oh, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I feel like that's something that like it has helped him out a lot. And like I said before, I try not to get super mad at him, even when he does something that like I didn't told him not to do. So it's like he understands that, right? He understands it, and in a sense where it's okay. It's okay you make a mistake. You know, you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving forward and ask yourself, like, what'd you learn from that?
Do you talk to him like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah. So I've told him, I was like, okay, like, hey, you made a mistake, right? I was like, what'd you learn from that? He's like, what? Yeah, at first he's like, what? He's confused. Like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, what'd you learn from it? He's like, you didn't do it right. Like yesterday, he was actually I got him. It was like a small, like a Superman like Lego, and he was trying to take off his mask, right? And he was getting frustrated, and he's like, how do you take this off? He was getting frustrated to a point where he was gonna cry, and I'm like, hey, I was like, calm down. I was like,
he had a mask stuck on his face.
Yeah,
that's actually really scary.
The Lego did. It was like it was a head, right? And then he had like the mask, like you could actually take it off the actual head on the Lego. Right, so he was getting frustrated. He was trying to take off the master because you could change the colors.
Okay.
Right, so and
so
he as he's telling me that, he's like, Dad, he's like, how you take it off? And I'm like, dude, like, relax, like, calm down. He's like, why do you want to take it off? He said, because it's crooked. He said it was crooked. You know, I'm like, you just turn it. I was like, you got to make sure they figure out a way to where like you don't get frustrated. You can't be getting frustrated. And then he's like, he just calmed down. I was like, look, how'd you turn it? Because it didn't come like this. I was like, you did it by trying to take it off, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, then, like, what'd you do wrong right here? I was like, what'd you learn? I was like, next time, like, you don't turn it like that, because now it's stuck. I was like, we need a special, like, thing is so small that we needed like a I don't know, like a screwdriver to just pop it off, you know?
You had to use a screwdriver?
Yeah.
I love how engaged you are. Like, it's happening with this Lego. That's awesome.
And yeah, once he like I told him that, he calmed down, you know. But if I would have yelled at him, oh, yelled at him in the day. I did, and that's another, you know, instance where like kind of it like you get frustrated because your kid is getting frustrated, and then you realize like, oh shit, like, you know, you gotta help him, you know, and it's okay if like you made a mistake. You gotta acknowledge that. You gotta make sure that he knows that too, and you make him think as to like what, okay, why did I do this? So next time around, like he won't. It comes because it's gonna come again, and then he does it better, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's so cute. I love that. I love how much of an engaged dad that you are, because like lack of fathers these days, and there's something so healing for a boy to have a man speak life into him.
Yeah.
For a man to speak like identity, you can do it, work through it, don't get frustrated. Like literally, you're not talking to him like he's a baby. You're talking to him like you're building a man. And that's the other thing, like gym life creates that for people.
Right.
Coaches are literally step-in dads oftentimes, or step-in brothers, or like give you that encouragement, because the rest of the world, you know, it's all about work. But then finally you focus on you. Right. What do you need to work on?
Yeah.
And we don't all get that kind of like one-on-one looking at you, caring, trying to help you with your struggles, attention.
Yeah. No, I mean, I always remind him too. I'm like, hey, you're blessed to be around a good environment of people, you know, and it's everyone from the gym, from the salon, you know. That's why I encourage that they talk to him like that, right? From everyone from the salon, they talk to him like that. They talk to him like he's an adult, you know. And I always tell his Uncle Mikey. I'm like, Uncle Mikey. He's always talking about Uncle Mikey. You know, that's another. He's like always putting like confidence in his head. Always like he looks out at his cars like, wow. He's like, Dada. Now he's saying, he's like, I wanna have a Ferrari. I wanna have a Lamborghini. He knows all those cars now because of his Uncle Mikey. Uncle Mikey, awesome. You know, it's like he looks at it and he's like, Dada, I want that. The other day he got it was a Hot Wheel, and it was a Lamborghini. And out of all the Hot Wheels that he got, he chose that one. He got that one out. He's like, look, Dad, I got a Lamborghini.
Did you tell him he can only get it in black or white?
Yeah, I told him. I was like,
did you really?
Yeah, I was like, only black and white, but he wants a red one.
Oh, new trend.
And then, but you know, those are the things that I remind him of. I'm like, hey, you're blessed to be around the right people. Mm-hmm. You know, because like every single person that's around him, like they put good things in his head, you know, and that's another way to build that confidence. Mm-hmm. You know, for him to already be riding in those cars and riding in a Rolls Royce, I'm like, dude, you're lucky. He doesn't realize that. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, you're lucky. I was like, dude, you're 6 years old, and your Uncle Mikey takes you in his Rolls Royce, mm-hmm. and then he's like, oh, you know, it's just, I was like, it took me 20, 25, 26 years to finally ride in a car like that. You know, it's a different feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you get exposed to those things, and then you feel like a lot of people may feel like they're so far away from you, like they're not even possible to have. Mm-hmm. You know, but for him, it's like it's so close to him that it becomes normal. Yeah. You know, to have. So then he starts to set bigger goals. He starts to always want to work. Like now he'll tell me, he's like, oh, I'm gonna work. You know, I'm like, okay, good. Like it's the drive that he has because he wants that, and you got to constantly remind him like, hey, you want that, you got to work for it. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not just gonna get it handed to you like that. Mm-hmm. So those are like very important things that like try to push on him.
Mm-hmm. You know? They say the parents' ceiling is a child's foundation.
Yeah.
Now you can only keep being around people like that because it got too normal for him.
Yeah, no,
He's
exactly.
used to high quality, high end, and now you have to maintain it.
Yeah, no, and that's you're right. I mean, now it's like there's no way. Now he can't he doesn't see those things no more. He's gonna be like, oh, what happened? Mm-hmm. So it's you know. My boy always tells me that he's like, the hardest thing is maintaining it. Mm-hmm. You know, so now it's like, but like I said, it's like continuing to keep working, keep working, keep busy, stay busy. Like I really believe that the more like things that you have in your plate create a lot more pressure on yourself, right? And it's like it's a test to see how much you could handle. You want to have all those things. You want to have big house. Like I've always wanted a house by the beach, and that's what I want. So like I get exposed to those things, and I know that I need to continue to work. It's a lot more pressure, but then I know that it's well worth it. It's gonna be well worth it in the end. If as long as my son is happy and I'm able to provide that for him, I'll keep working. And he sees it and he continues it, and he continues it with his kids, his grandkids. And you build a legacy. You build a whole community. If everybody's on the same, ain't just that one person. And that everyone wants to do everything all at once, or they just want to have be the one. They want to be the boss, or and they don't want to share that information with somebody that you care for, because like for whatever reason, oh, I'm afraid that he might take over, whatever. Who cares? It's like everyone's a boss. That's what it should be like. Everyone's a boss. I was like, you're a boss, I'm a boss, he's a boss. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you want bosses around you, so you could go ahead and build that.
Oh yeah, I feel that so much with all you guys. I feel it before training, after training, and everyone's just like feels good. There's no competition element to it. Yeah. We're all here to get better.
Right. It's like you're focused on yourself. You're focused on the next guy trying to like take your place. I was like, you're doing it wrong. It's sort out. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of like helping each other out.
Yeah, and being part of something bigger than yourself. Like, just as an employee? I'm not an employee. I'm a member. As a member, I could come and go and it means nothing. But I am part of something bigger than myself. I'm part of a organization and community that is going to bless other people, teach people how to protect themselves, give people like the safety within their own self-esteem to love themselves because they show up for themselves.
Right.
It's not just I show up to get skinnier and learn how to fight. No, I'm part of a winning community. These people have strong minds.
Right.
These people care for each other. If I don't show up for a week, someone's going to text me where I am because they care and they know I wouldn't skip a week. Yeah. And it's the hugest blessing. The greatest thing one can do is be around a good environment, and that's why I go to Lifestyle.
Right.
I followed my coach because I learned how to be a killer, and I like the people he surrounds himself with, and I met you.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's what you bring good people around you, right? Together. It's the energy. I have people ask me like, "Yo, how'd you do it?" And it's not just me; it's the energy that I put towards the gym. That you bring people like that. And then those people put out that energy. I talked to Coach Murph about this one morning, where I was like, hey, you know what the dope part about this right now is that, like, if you feel down one day, I was like, you got people around you that are motivated, and they're gonna go ahead and uplift you. If I feel down one day, I already know, like you said, for a fact that like you're gonna go ahead and have people check in on you. Hey, what's going on? And because you're not always gonna, people, you deal with shit. Everyone deals with things, and deal with it in a different way. But at the end of the day, it's like, who's there with you, right? Who's there with you in the good and bad times, and who's gonna deal with it the best way is like who's gonna help you deal with it. Right. And then you're going to remember those people that were there from the start, from when you were struggling, whatever. Right. So that's what I remember. I told him, I was like, and he's a good person, a great coach to have around, because he understands the discipline. He understands like the mentality of like continue to push people, and then have them reach their full potential and get them to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yeah, it's not even like we're gonna learn jujitsu. It's like we're gonna get better.
yeah,
That's all of us there.
and yeah, like, and that's the gym that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, anybody could come and join. You want to get better, come here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to get better, don't come here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a place where you are gonna uplift each other, and you have an idea, you have something that you want to do. Hey, come talk to us, and let's do it together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
What was the hardest part about starting the gym?
Starting it, shit, jumping and doing it, and
Really?
not overthinking it. You know, I used to overthink like a lot of things, like from the first time that I switched pretty much, well, from the first time that I went on my own from being at a barbershop. I I didn't know if I was making the right decision, you know, because I had this thing where, like, well, this is the first barbershop that I went to, you know. It's a I enjoyed cutting hair there, but then I started overthinking it. I kind of like I didn't pay attention to how I felt, like what my goals were, right? So I ended up doing it. Every little decision that I've made, that I overthinking it. And then this time around, it was like I kind of thought of it at first a little bit, and then I was just like, no, this is it. Like, just making that decision.
Yeah.
You know, that's I think that a lot of people, they may have an idea, and they just don't jump on it. You know, and how many people have wanna do something, but they never get it done, right? It's just that thought, and it's actually not that crazy to do it. It's just fear. There ain't no fear.
Yeah.
You know, it's just ain't no fear. Like, because at the end of the day, you still alive. You know, if it doesn't work out, so what? You did it. You started it, and then move on. Next time around, you do it again. You know, but I would say that was probably been, and obviously, like, yeah, you know, trying to get it right, trying to move things around, and the work that goes behind it, like, but you know, I was used to that. You know, I was used to just like, it's like I was trained to just to work, you know. And
what did you start doing? What was your first job?
Machine operator.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I was at a machine shop. I would pretty much just any metal parts, and just put them in the machine and program, or not program, the machines were already programmed, but just continue it to have it run, cut up the machine. I forget what we used to make. It's like small parts for, I think they were like for like hospital chairs.
Wow, that's really cool.
So I would do all that, like from deburring, cutting up the parts, and then that was what, I think I was like 17. Yeah, and then after that, I always wanted to do valet.
It's so funny.
Valet, because I was like, I wanted to drive nice cars. I'm like, I know that I'm not. Yeah, so.
And you get tipped.
Yeah, so I was doing valet. I would say valet was probably one of my longest jobs that I had. You
liked it?
I did like it at first. Yeah, I liked it at first. I just kind of just the trying different cars, driving new cars, and that was the first time I drove a Lamborghini and Ferrari, and I remember the first time I drove one. It just, the smell of it felt right. I'm like, damn, this feels like this fits me right here, you know, and that's, never forgot that feeling.
Why? It's a car.
Why?
I've never been in a Lamborghini. Is it the car? Is it the animal in the center?
To me, it was the smell of the leather.
I mean, the logo though. Is it the one with the
Oh, the logo. The which one? Lamborghini or
Ferrari?
Ferrari? Ferrari is with the horse.
Which
And
one has the other animal?
I think it's the Lamborghini.
Is
The
it
Lamborghini is different though. The horse. So the horse has the animal in the middle.
Mustang?
The Mustang is like, yeah, that's
Also
a different one.
horse.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So it was the leather for you in the Lamborghini.
Yeah, it was. You hear about the Lamborghini. You always hear about the Lamborghini doors and but for me it was more the performance, the leather, the way that it was, the quality of it. It was just like, I'm like, damn, the engineering that went behind it, the time that went behind it. It was just, you could tell it was just so much love behind it.
You're a car guy.
I'm just like, oh
That's
man,
awesome.
this felt right, and so I mean, continue to drive those cars and I remember I would book it. I would get the keys and I would run to get the car, and then because I wanted, especially if the guest was there,
Yeah.
and then I wanted to show them like, I'm gonna go run so I could get a bigger tip.
Did it work?
It did.
Nice.
Yeah.
I respect it when people like have a hustle in their step.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, but no, it was a good experience too.
And then valet to hair
Valet,
or
was it
barbering?
yeah, I think it was no, you know what? It was valet, and then I used to do deliver meals. This is when I was going to school. And then once I finished college is when I went to barber school. Yeah, so but yeah, it was just small little jobs, delivering food, Uber, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've done a few jobs.
Yeah, I did. But I hated jobs. I was like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. You don't hate working, you hate jobs.
I hate jobs. I don't like to feel like somebody else is controlling my time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to be there, I'll work. Like it's I would work like what 10 some, especially in valet, like 10, 12 hours sometimes, and just
Wow.
yeah. But I mean, I didn't mind it, like it's I'm not gonna sit there and just because I hate my job, it's like, you hate your job, then go look for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Saying with the people, especially in the customer service industry, like you have a job and you don't enjoy doing it, so that gives you the right to treat somebody else the wrong way. It's like the energy that they may feel. I'm like, nah, I never enjoyed doing that too. Like that's why now I go to like I don't know, it could be a fast food restaurant, whatever, and they if they don't like say hi or anything, I'm like, man, I don't even want to eat here no more. I was
I'm
like,
going home. Are you really like that? You'll leave?
There's been a couple times, not all the time, but if I'm really hungry, I'm not gonna leave. I'm like, yo, I'm hungry, but I'm not gonna, just give me my food.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's just I get it. People go through some things, and they may be dealing with something throughout the day, but it doesn't give you the right to put it out on somebody else.
Yeah.
So
people don't understand that, like, not working for someone else doesn't mean that you get to have like more free time working for yourself. Working for yourself, you're going to be working 10 times more.
Oh yeah.
Like, quite literally, it's the greatest privilege to create your own hours, but those hours are mostly just going to all be working.
Right.
Like the little things that people don't think about in the business development, like your free time with your sons probably like reposting social media. Yeah. Like, you're still working. You don't track that time. Right. That's just, I work for myself. I work all the time, but it's my time.
No, yeah. No, it really, you're right. I mean, it's I've had clients ask me like, hey, like, you when is your time off? I get that question asked all the time. What days do you take off? I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm working all the time, but my time off is with my son. And that's what I a few hours. You know, I still work. Like on Sundays, I still go to the gym. I still work out. I still might have a couple of haircuts in the morning, but then like in the afternoon, I'll have like some free time with my son. Um, and during that time, like I'll give him my attention, and then at the same time, I'm still like kind of thinking about like, okay, like, what do we got to do now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like you're working in a different way, right? And so I don't usually take any. I wouldn't take time off.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, it's a different hustle. People want to be their own boss, and that's great. You know, go ahead, try it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then see if you can't go home at like 5 in the evening if you still got shit to do. You know, and who's gonna do it? You know, you gotta be
Mm-hmm.
okay with going home at 11 midnight.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get home 1, 2 in the morning. You sleep 3 hours, 4 hours, and then you gotta get up and do it again. You know, it's like you gotta
Yeah.
be willing to do that. If you're not willing to do that, then it's all good. Just keep working.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Those are things that I'm like, okay, it's like sacrifices. Sacrifice time with my son, and that you're a lot of people, they want to spend a lot of the times with family time. That's fine. That's good. You know. But I think that you don't always have to be every day spending hella time with your family if it's not necessary. You got things to do, so they gotta understand that, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I got things to do. You guys want to be good? Like, I gotta do this. Ain't nobody else gonna do it.
Yep.
You know. So, and that's like, I haven't seen my parents in what, like maybe 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So they always ask me, like, hey, come visit us. They live up in Reading.
Mm.
Um, and when I don't call them, they're like, oh, you don't call us no more. I'm like, you don't call me. You know, I'm
Classic.
like, you don't call me. You don't
Yeah.
check in. But they understand, and I've talked to them about that before. I'm like, hey, like, I gotta work right now. I was like, oh, my mom, oh, mijo, like,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna drive yourself crazy. I was like, mom, I'm already crazy. You know what I mean? I'm already like crazy. I don't know. She's like, yeah, but like, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. You can't be working so much. I was like, mom, I was like, I want you guys to be good. You know, and ain't nobody else doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, ain't nobody else going over to the next level. Like, it's just making a difference and doing something different. Like, not following the family tree. Ever since we were kids, they're like, go to college, go to school. It's good. Like, but for me, it's just, I couldn't do it. You know, I went to junior college, but I couldn't go to university. You know, she would always tell me, she would try to rub it in my face sometimes, because all my siblings, both of my older sisters, and my brother, younger brother, they all went to universities. And then I remember she told me one time, she's like, oh, you should go to university. I'm like, for what? You know, it's just, I can't do that. She's like, oh, well, like, you got to get your education. I'm like, kind of I'm like, okay. But it kind of just pushed me to show him a different way,
Mm-hmm.
right? And show him a different route, like, and then now, yeah, it's a lot of work, but I enjoy it. I continue to, I want to show them.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make them. I want to make them proud. I want to, and then it's not till like now, and they're like, oh shit, like, same thing with my dad. My dad used to tell me that I wasn't gonna do anything. He's like, you're not gonna
So
do
sad.
shit in life, like.
That's terrible.
No, yeah, no, but it's. I mean, he didn't mean it in, like, I feel like in a bad way, right? It's,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting in trouble, and like, it's just in high school, and I remember he told me that one time. I'm like, all right, but it's what are you gonna do with that, right? You either accept it, and then you continue to tell yourself, oh, well, I'm not gonna do shit anyway, so might as well just not do anything,
Mm-hmm.
or you're gonna go ahead and take it and then use that as motivation.
Yeah.
You know, um, just how you gonna take things, and people will tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do a podcast. All right, watch me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, or, all right, yeah, you're right. You know, same thing with the gym. Oh, it's not gonna work out. Oh, I don't think you should do it like that. all right, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it my way. And but I appreciate your input on it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. And if it doesn't work out, at least it's my fault,
Yeah, it
right?
feels better.
It feels better because you're like, okay, it didn't work out this way. All right, well then you shift a different way. You know, we were talking about this earlier, where you could write your whole plan down, right? Your whole day, you could write it down. Something happens, time, whatever, like car accident happens on the way to the gym. Then now what? Now you're pissed off because like you're late,
Right.
right? It's things that you can't control. Same thing with business, right? You could write things down. You could write how you're gonna want a certain look, and then if it doesn't go that way because like it didn't, the measurements weren't right, that happened to us.
For what?
For it was like the boxing ring when it when
Dang,
it first came, like it was too big. I was expecting it to be smaller, right? The measurements weren't right, and then I saw, I was like, oh shit, and I had already bought a rack for the bags, and then it was supposed to be in a corner. You know where the speed bag is at? It was
Yeah.
supposed to be in that corner, and it was too
Oh.
tight. So then I ended up having to get rid of the bag rack. So I had to adjust, but I didn't like. I was okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I accepted it. I wasn't pissed off or anything. I'm like, well, I mean, that's my fault for not taking the right measurements.
Mm.
So it's and you shift a different way. And that's what you do that with everything. You could plan out your day, your goals, your life, your whatever you want to do, and if you continue to like force things and you don't do them because of for that reason, oh well, no, I'm supposed to do it like this. This is how I'm supposed to do it. Then you miss on opportunities that you might have actually got that same thing done a different way.
Mm.
You see what I mean? So that's why like you just gotta go with it.
Yeah.
And just keep going, keep jumping, keep
Yeah.
and then you'll see what meets you.
I feel like I've been seeing that, just like a little bit of creating your own path
Yeah.
and that feeling an edge of, oh, I didn't go to college.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't go to one day of college.
Yeah.
I'm thankful my parents were down for me to not, but now it's like I really have to have a career or just be able to take care of myself. And as I continue to take risks, like I just feel myself like God blessing me or giving me the craziest opportunities where I'm just like, how? Like I don't deserve this.
Right.
But maybe somehow I did if I got, if I worked for it. But it's like these crazy opportunities that only come when you just believe in that feeling that's bigger than logic.
Right.
That doesn't make sense, but you're like, maybe, just maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you say you can't force it. You just gotta keep going. So.
Yeah. Well, we are about at an hour, and I've been taking much of your time, especially before. So sorry on that. Can you tell me what it means for you to elevate?
Elevate. To me, it's to be able to. It's not just about yourself. I think if you create opportunities for others and you create an opening for other people, and you want to get to the next level, is being able to empower the people and being able to like make a difference in their lives. And then the happiness that you get behind that is amazing. It's to me it's not just elevating like yourself. It's elevating with everybody else. And if you're able to do that, and you're able to get together with people, and then you see everyone. I always like picture a big gathering. It could be a barbecue, right? Someone's house, and everyone pulls up. Everyone comes in, and everyone has their own business. You pull up in a whatever exotics or exotic cars, like. But I always see that, right? In a house, like friends, family, and then you come together, and then everyone's like, damn, like hey, talking about like the business is going, and that's the real elevation right there. Not just you doing it, and then not helping others and to elevating them as well. Because I feel like a lot of especially, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of successful people, that they may not understand that, like, where they're continuing to push, right, to the next level. But then if you don't have anybody around you, then you can't really enjoy it. You know.
Yeah.
And then, the most important thing is like family, like creating your own family, having people around you that they're also like, you're showing them the way of doing it, you know, and helping people if they're in trouble, and if they have like issues going on in life, whatever. Like, that's elevation right there. Yeah.
Dang, that's the coolest definition I've heard. Because you're right, it you can't elevate without each other.
Yeah.
And if so, what's the point? Why do it?
Yeah.
Like, it feels so good. That's the feeling. I think that's why I do it. The feeling of getting to elevate someone else.
Right.
Like, it's just, you love each other, you know?
Yeah.
When you get to feel that with someone else, it's just straight up love.
That's it. Yeah.
How can people find you?
You search us up on Instagram, Lifestyle Training Center, or if you wanted to follow my personal page, it's Omar.Carlos. And then come check out the gym, you know, and then find us on Yelp too. Yelp, Google.
I have to do my reviews there because those matter.
Yeah, they do. Please. Yeah.
Well, I just want to commend you so much for doing this. And the way our paths crossed, it was just destined to be. And I'm so thankful and excited for this new path I get to be part of with Lifestyle, and having such a solid community, and being aligned with you being the owner, and having my team in an environment where we get to just be happy together. It's literally my weekend atmosphere. It's my favorite thing to do. And I get to do it with your team now. And I'm just really happy to be part of what you're doing. And there's so much work that goes behind what you do. And I just want to say thank you for doing it.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me here. And thank you for coming by and believing in the dream of the gym. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
So I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Please keep elevating, and have a beautiful and awesome day. Goodbye.